Hello everyone, we're back again. Another one of my rambly commentaries. Been a while, been a couple weeks. Finally got no chance. I'm also back at college, so there's even less chances for me to be able to do commentary stuff. But I've got a chance here. So we're gonna cover the MK2 characters in this video, and have I changed them? Just like I'll have like a main improvement, but I'll talk about general other stuff because I like to ramble. I yap a lot about these characters. Um, because I'm a nerd. So let's just get into it. Starting with Reptile, and I should have clarified in last video how I classify what's going to count in what section, because obviously when I was recording the first video, I didn't have the intention of it being a series. It was going to be just one video, and I realized, no, this is really long because I yap on so much. I don't want to cut down the yapping because this is the type of video for me to yap on about. So it's a series now. That's going to take me about a year to finish it, maybe longer. I don't know. But Reptile, so how I've classed this is if you're a boss character, you have a presence, you have lore, you have a story already, you're going to be put in your debut as a boss, even though you're not playable in that game. I'm going to count you in with the playable characters of that game. If you're a secret character, and there's going to be exceptions, specifically, I hadn't thought about it because I mean Armageddon is just Taven and Dagon, so that's not going to be a whole video. I guess I'm going to do everything post Deception, like one video maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Although maybe not, because there's a lot of changes I would give to a lot of the NRS newcomers because they're quite messy, with the exception of the combat kids, I guess. I don't know what I'm going to do there. I'll figure it out. But basically, if you're a secret character like Arcade Era and you just show up and you're just a palette swap really, and you got no lore, you haven't really got anything unique in terms of a moveset, I'm not going to count you until you make your debut appearance. So Reptile is in this video instead of the MK1 video, and the secret characters game Jade, Smoke, and Noob. They're just going to be in my MK3 video, which the MK3 video I'll probably just cover every version of MK3, right? I think that makes the most sense. So starting with Reptile here, and my simple change will be reunite with Chameleon, and this can apply in both ways, which I stated in the last video. This is mainly talking about the original and I guess the first NRS reboot timeline version of the characters before like they get like full on hard retconned like in MK12. Regardless if you think it counts as a retcon, like they're obviously just complete backstory changes or other things have just completely changed. And this sort of applies to both of them because this point is essential for his character development in like the midway timeline. And in MK12, I guess I'll start with MK12 because it is quite a simple point. It is just very unsatisfying. Reptile in that game is characterized really well. He actually has a chapter, he gets some focus. He's not just, a jobber working for someone because he wants his realm back. Because he has his people, right? It's not a terror anymore. That's dumb, right? It's just an outworld for the sake of convenience. There's no narrative explanation for that change. It's just convenient. Like how it's convenient to just sort of write the one being out of existence, which I don't think you can do logically. I don't think that's possible, but they have. So that's unsatisfying, and he's cast out from his people. That's also really unsatisfying. But I said I ramble in it. This is what I mean, because this is a separate tangent connected to this tangent, and so he's an outcast from his people. So we don't see him interacting with his people. We don't see him with the equivalent of the Terrans is Zakanda, I think now, and the species name is just the Terrans, which they were called the Terrans before, but like. There's no longer Saurians, but Chameleon's a Saurian and not as a Terran. Apparently there's a difference. That's bullshit. I'm just not going to process that mentally because it doesn't make sense. So yeah, there's a terror equivalent. He's just not there, right? He's an outcast because he could shapeshift. They don't really explain that. There's something interesting in Shang Tsung versus shapeshifting of Reptile, which sure, but they act like Reptile having shapeshifting is unnatural for his people, which then that doesn't make sense, and that's a contrived reason to not show the Terror or the Outworld equivalent, and that's lame, right? The whole point of the change is, his people aren't fucking genocided, and he doesn't get to be around them. We don't get to see that. We don't get that payoff. The benefit is he gets to go on and do his own thing, has a new, storyline or whatever, and it's good, right? Act 2 of the story mode is actually good. But then, it's his chapter. He fights Tanya. Tanya's assist in the story mode is Chameleon. They don't address each other. They don't interact. Chameleon doesn't speak at all because they have a really weird problem of they have some cameos in the story, and the ones in the story, they're noticeably cameos. They don't get characterized at all, really. Some are mute, or if you're like Goro, you get like 2 lines of dialogue. Serena too. It's dumb. You have the models and you have voices for them, right? You can characterize them like a regular story character. They're in the fights as well. Regardless of their assisting gameplay, that doesn't really matter when it comes to cutscenes. And no, they don't interact. And Camille is actually going to talk to Sector of all people in the story expansion. Why? Why is there no interaction there? I've waited fucking... I was going to say however many years since Trilogy. But that's not true because I wasn't fucking born then. But it's been a long ass time, right? To get these two finally interacting, and they don't. They're on the same screen at the same time. Such a rare occurrence. Possibly not something we'll see anytime soon again. Which we probably will because Reptile's popular and Chameleon is also really popular and will probably be playable in the next game. I don't know. So it's possible there, but what a waste. What a waste. And then the original timeline, I guess this is the more interesting thing, is, Reptile's this broken character, right? He's insane in MK4 Daylights. And, narratively, it kind of works. It's sad to see the character like that because I feel like there's a more interesting direction for his personality and whatnot. But narratively, it makes sense. And obviously, it's an era where you don't see too much characterization anyway, in terms of just natural dialogue and whatnot. So it can work. I think that storyline had a clear payoff, and that was Chameleon, saving Reptile from his own madness, essentially. And they don't do it. They don't do it because Armageddon's an incomplete story, and then they reboot it afterwards. Fucking lame, right? So whatever story it is, whatever you're doing with the two characters, they need to reunite. And this point could be made for when I was talking about Chameleon, and frankly, Chameleon has less issues as a character than Reptile. I think up until MK12, Chameleon was clearly the stronger written character, and she's only shown up twice. Now Reptile's also well written, so that's neat. And I want to see them interact. Whether friends or lovers, I don't really mind either way, right? I think if they were lovers, that'd be a lot better than the contrived random pairing with Ashra. I don't think anyone asked for that. It's not even done in the story. I don't think they properly... they're on the same team in the story, obviously, but I don't think they talk to each other. And then, intro dialogues and even, in gameplay, Reptile will say he learned... I can't remember what the move is, but he learned a move off Ashra, which I don't know how Ashra would have taught him, a big gator attack. I think it's one of, his alligator forms. Not an alligator. Maybe it was the death roll. But his full lizard form. Again, I digress. But that ship's lame. There's been worse crack ships because, it doesn't necessarily not work. It's just I don't think anyone wanted to see it, right? Because they don't interact in any story. Not even the MK12 story do they interact. They're just on the same side. So I could have made this reunite with Chameleon point, just reunite with Reptile for Chameleon. I don't know what I'm going to put for Chameleon now, because I think Chameleon's, written quite well, but it's not much to change. I suppose I'll talk about, like, the narrative idea of restoring Zotero, and she should probably be the focus of that, because, I mean, she puts more work in than Reptile in doing that. And that's an unfortunate part, because, like, Chameleon will probably be in the new era, like, as a full character in the sequel, unless they really fuck up bad with the roster. Like I think she's a lock-in. If you're looking at cameos to move up to fully playable, she's, like, number 2 behind Serena. I suppose I'll probably be discussing this when we get to Chameleon in the next video, but it's going to be a shame for her, because the trying to get her realm back was an actually interesting story, which obviously only told in bios and endings in her 2 appearances. So there was more to do with that one, whereas Reptile, you've run out of stuff to do with him just, serving one of the big bads under some false hope or whatever. Like, there's nothing left to do there. You kind of ran out of stuff to do by Deadly Alliance. And that's why Deadly Alliance changes things up by having Natara kind of try to help him. Again, Natara's very interesting because neutral force, right? She does some shady stuff, but, like, she's ultimately trying to be good. She doesn't want to, like, properly fuck over these people, right? Like, she helps Reptile out a bit with, she's, like, patient when he's, like, going fucking crazy and trying to attack her. She doesn't, like, fight him or anything. And she gives him the Kirahashi, remnant of Zotero. So she did care about Reptile, right? And then, she fucks off with Cyrax to go get around back. Reptile realised, oh, he's been used again. And another thing that bothers him is, like, she distracted him so he wouldn't be able to prevent Shao Kahn being killed. That's a dumb part of Alliance Reptile, is the fact he cares about Shao Kahn. Like, he fucked over your realm. I guess if you go crazy, but, like, once he's gone, like, surely you're like, fine with that. Like, I'd get being mad because, oh, he could maybe give me my people back or whatever. But getting mad because Shao Kahn's dead and you care about Shao Kahn the person, it doesn't really work. Again, that's a side tangent, but this all relates to, like, if you're doing this with the original timeline, he's turned into Monaga or whatever. He gets separated, after Deception and whatnot. They don't actually explain that because he doesn't get the chance to have an Armageddon pile. And I think clearly that moment, whenever you explain how he's in his own body again, that's when you have him reunite with Chameleon. And that's when you have, Chameleon, like help him out, and, he gets some fucking mental health treatment, dude. And then you can go team up with Chameleon, right? Go to the fucking Battle of Armageddon, help out the heroes, and then go restore your realm. That's the good ending. We didn't get that. What we got was Reptile's back now for reasons, and he's with the Force of Darkness, just because, of course. So yeah, I think that covers everything, Reptile. Moving on. Katana. There's not much to say about Katana because she's a pretty consistently good character. I mean, I saw many verses recently because she's one of the mainstays. I'm kind of fine with being a mainstay. I think she's earned that, unlike most. However, I have been thinking, and this isn't the point I want to make, but I suppose I'll add this on now, is she hasn't done much in the NRS games, right? Like besides MK11, MK12 she's an afterthought because Melina actually gets to be a character for once. So they focus on Melina over her, which that's one thing, balance out that relationship. Both characters should get a good amount of focus. MKX, she's an undead jobber who also in Angel Dogs is just a very mean person. What an asshole. And MK9, she's a damsel in distress. So doesn't do much outside of MK11, outside of the past version. And then the midway Katana is good. And MK11 Katana is really good. So she's been like ridiculously good, and when she's not well written, she's not really like badly written. It's just she's not doing much. Right. So if I were to say something for her to do, is become Queen of Edenia. Which even then, that's not something I think you have to have the character do. Right. I don't know, that's a big thing, but there's been sort of this focus, recently with like, oh, she becomes ruler of Outworld. Even MK2 have that sort of thing because she'd be next in line after Melina. I think ruling out was a Melina thing now. MKX did it. Obviously, Deception has it. She actually becomes the Empress, and Armageddon, Shao Kahn returns, and she doesn't want to, but she kind of has to give up the throne. And that's an interesting thing with Melina. I don't think it's... I suppose the idea is more that she's just not wanting to give it up because she's selfish and then realizes she has to. But I guess there's something interesting in even like the original Melina not being properly loyal to Shao Kahn, because Shao Kahn sucks. As a person, the character's fine. Usually, not recently, but in Midway games for sure. So Melina has the focus of ruling Outworld and whatnot. So they also want to do that with Katana, with MK11, Katana Khan or whatever. Right? And I don't mind that. I don't mind the idea of her ruling around, right? However, it shouldn't be Outworld. I just don't think in a time when there's a logical place for her to fit into that position. You want to have like a proper like government, instead of just a fucking monarchy, then you can have her as like one of the heads of the realm or whatever, right? Whatever you want to do there, that's something you can do alternatively. But keeping it basic to just like monarchs in the other realms. But yeah, Queen of Edenia, I think that works, right? In whatever story Edenia gets restored, right? And then Sindel gives position to Katana and sort of advises her, right? Because Sindel doesn't want to rule after, Edenia got conquered. So she feels she needs to pass it on or whatever. Which, she's a good ruler, I imagine. Right. Not MK12 Sindel. Definitely not MK11 Sindel. But original Sindel is, but she just wants to step back, right? So she gives position to Katana. I think there's something interesting there. That gives us an agency. Going into like stories later on in the timeline and whatnot. There's just a lot you can do there, right? I've got nothing really specific for it. I've done the idea in my fanfic, MK Reborn, which I guess I'll put in the description again, because this is why I yap on about his character so much, because I've writ a lot of them. Wrote, not writ. Wrote a lot of them. Over 600,000 words, I think. So it's been a lot. It's been a few years as well. And yeah, that's something I've done with Katana. And I realize there's a lot you can do with her that I haven't properly, decided on. Because there's just a lot of stuff you can have branch off from doing this. And I feel if you want to have Katana do something new, keep the character nuanced, then yeah, do this. Restore Edenia as she becomes the queen of it, and whatever Edenia storylines you want to do, then she's at the forefront. I think that works. Obviously, Edenia's not in a fucking realm anymore, so thanks, NRS. Melina has a lot of things to say, and this is interesting because, like Reptile, it's sort of another character where the new era, like in terms of personality, in terms of characterization, story role to an extent, ignoring backstory and lore, is relatively good. It's an improvement. The new era isn't really the cause for that improvement, right? You didn't need a new backstory or whatever. But she's actually good. And I think that's fine. I think that's the right one. Because I'm of the opinion, and it's not even really an opinion, like if you look at the characters, the pure evil ones are specifically like the big bads and some other ones. Whereas the rest are more manipulated. Not to say like, oh, like they're actually good, but like they can be redeemed or whatever. And I think William was probably at the forefront of that. Because, you know, oh, you're the daughter of Shao Kahn, right? And you're sort of just that with Katana, that's sort of just to get favor, right? To try and keep them loyal. Right, because Chao's obviously using her, right? She's a construct to do his bidding, right? And the clear payoff is her stepping out from Shao Kahn. And I guess we're getting that now. Which it took a reboot and just her becoming, you know, like a actually just a birth daughter of Sindel. Also, the older sister to Katana, that's weird. That's definitely, like, that's just not the vibe you get from him. Because Katana came first before. Because, you know, you needed a clone. Right? And obviously before they started twin vibe, right? Like, because like, I feel like Melina would have been created in the original time before Katana was old enough to realise she didn't exist. And obviously because they look the same, you know, are twins. But the distinction just being the Tarkhan teeth. And then, you know, the first NRS timeline, it becomes, oh, she's created an MK2. That's dumb, because you just undo a lot of history there for no reason, right? It's just to dumb it down, which, very weird to make her more childish in the game where you're hypersexualizing her. Interesting choice, NRS. Again, a lot of points. I don't know if I agree with what I've labelled for the main point, because this is also going to Tanya again. Because I feel like there's a lot of Melina. Because generally, I think, like what I've said, you know, you don't need to change the lore. I think her original lore is still her best lore. I don't like the character. I don't think she's been well written in anything, really, until MK12. I'm not a fan of that, like, crazy woman archetype. It's just not that interesting. And they don't do anything with it besides MKX and kind of Deception. Right, like in the ending, there's a payoff. Right, like the story for her advances. But Armageddon just drops it because it's Armageddon. So there's that. But I definitely think, you know, this is a parity redeem, right? Like I could have still just redeem her. But since, you know, MK12, you got a good Melina. Not really redeemed, you haven't really got our redemption story, or just like, it doesn't necessarily have to be redemption, just more so, you know, realizing that Shao Kahn is bad, and you turn on Shao Kahn, and you want to make Cowboy better, right? I think that's the clear narrative for Melina. In a normal timeline, again, that's why I didn't Reborn. She becomes the Empress after Shao Kahn's dead. But what I've chosen here is clearly showcase our love for Dania. And I think when I wrote these all up, I think I just picked this one for the label because, oh my god, it pissed me off. Like in MK12 specifically, that's the thing that pisses me off the most with this character. That there's more things that annoy me, particularly Madame Bo. That's the thing that annoys me the most, is Madame Bo. That is completely random for me to drop. But if you're wondering what new era change I hate the most, it's Madame Bo's just existence. I hate that character. Bring the right show back. That's a good character. Anyway, Glacier is love for Tanya. So what I mean by that is MK12, there is just a censored filler over all their dialogue. It drives me nuts. I think the most notable example is the festival scene where, you know, Melina just asks Tanya for water. She's like, okay, sure, leaves to get water. And then Katana's like, oh, you're fucking right. Yeah, I can tell. Like, what? She asked for water. That's not flirting. That's... No. Like the voice acting, you can get the vibe, sure. But she asked for water. Like, what? It's so insane. It's so insane. And then, when it comes to Melina's chapter, the cameo is Tanya, right? And then it gets some cute scenes, right? Tanya gets hurt, and then Melina's checking on her. But they never kiss. They never say, "Oh, I love you," or whatever, right? I don't think Melina calls her dearest anymore. Like, you could just pass it off as, oh, they're just really close pals. That is the vibe that you get whenever they're on the screen together, which isn't actually much, which is weird. Right? It's just Tanya cares about her a lot. Like, you can tell that because it's a duty to guard her. It doesn't really suggest love. There is a direct mention that they're lovers from Reiko, where I don't know if it's Tanya or Melina, but he tells one of them in intro dialogues that it would have been Melina because he says your sister and your lover have been captured, right? So Tanya, and that's the only direct thing, and you have to kind of go find it. Like, intro dialogues is clear, but again, they don't like outright state it, and it's just annoying how you have to subtly imply, even in intro dialogues, I guess to license the game in other countries, because I think they care, like the people on the team. But it is just lame. Right, it's not satisfying for anyone because you're not having a proper character romance. So it's like, what's the point? The dialogue's just not satisfying when you've got a fucking anti-gay filter over it all. And I find it very funny how you'll have fucking brain-rotted Twitter idiots who will say this game's so woke when they can't even have two women say they love each other. It's not great. The representation is not great. Again, this is my bigger issue with Melina, at least the original Melina, is just give our redemption story. But I want to make this the point because it's relevant to current Tanya and Melina as well. It's a good ship idea, right? It is a very good idea. And it's cool to get our representation officially. But they've done nothing with it. In 2 games now, they've done nothing. Like, what? Come on. It's just frustrating. And it's kind of pointless. Like, if you're not going to do it properly, don't do it at all, I feel, at this point. Actually, no, I feel like I'd be very annoyed if they didn't do it all, if they're both in the game. But it's just badly written. I don't really have anything to add there other than it's bad. Like, because it's just not natural dialogue at all. Which I think that's about it. Like, there's a lot to do with this character. She has a lot of potential, I feel, in terms of story roles, character dynamics, with, Tanya, Katana, the rest of her family and stuff. And we're getting that, but it's not all there yet. And I could have made it for a Tanya thing, but I think it's more a point with Tanya to make because I don't like MK2 Tanya. Like as a character, and I suppose this is discussion for another time. It's like, okay, you've got a heroic Tanya, that's cool because Tanya is a character who, this deceiver character. Even though Rain is an Edenian character who deceives people in literally every game. He should be called the Edenian deceiver, but it's Tanya for some reason. And I feel like people had the wrong idea about Tanya. She wasn't exactly a good person in the original time. In the first NRS time, she does nothing wrong. She's with a resistance that's going to bring Edenia back. She just wants Edenia restored, it seems. She's one of the only characters who just refused to side with Shao Kahn. Shinnok sort of tricks her, right, into serving him, and then she's just kind of forced to, or else she dies. Onaga does the same thing, and daylights, right? Like the fact she'll help them, like that's not good. But she doesn't have much of a choice. She's only doing this stuff, right, for self-preservation, and sure, that's selfish. However, it's like she's being malicious just because it's not for personal gain, it's to stay alive. So I feel like she's a lot more of a sympathetic character than she's been given credit for. And I think MKX kind of pushed out of... Because it's a lame narrative, and I guess it gave it to Devore, just switching between villains, villain hopping, which a lot of characters have done anyway, like Reptile, like Melina herself. And MKX, she overcame that because she's fighting for a cause she actually believes in. And that's cool, and there's a genuine romance for Melina, and people keep denying that it's a genuine romance. Right, I've seen a lot of bad faith takes that Tanya shouldn't actually love Melina because she deceives and manipulates everyone, and that's just not right. Like, she manipulated, she manipulated Liu Kang, I guess, and that's it. Like she betrays Dania because she let Shinnok in, but again, she's forced to. So I feel like people have the wrong idea about Tanya. Even original Tanya. And then you look at MKX Tanya, and she hasn't really done anything wrong. I mean, at MKX ending, she fucking sells out Rain. Which, that's selfish. Again, she's kind of backed into a corner to do that because the resistance is failing. And that's not even canon. And then, MK11... Intro say she got fucking executed by Kotal, so if we're going off at MK11, then she stuck to it till the end. So I might as well say it now because I've gone on this Tanya tangent. The thing I'll just put for Tanya is do her MKX character. Just do that more. Because I think that's a perfect Tanya portrayal, and MK12 sort of acts like they've never done a heroic Tanya before. Right, like you've got Fire-God Liu Kang acting like he made Tanya good in this timeline. Like, she did nothing wrong in the previous timeline. She did nothing wrong in MKX. She did genuinely nothing wrong. There are, most of the heroes have more sins that we know about than Tanya. She does nothing. It is... I feel bad for her. She does nothing wrong. So that's what I'm going to say for Tanya. And also she has a fun personality. She's just kind of boring. Order woman, right? In MK12. It's just not an interesting character. Again, it's nice that she's not generically evil. But it's just not interesting. Right? I'm not going to be so simple-minded to go, oh, well, you're not being treated as a villain now, so I'm going to like you now. No. Whereas, Melina in MK12, there's stuff going on that makes her a compelling character. So that's fine. Anything else I want to add on these two? I don't think so. But yeah, I guess I'll have to do that Tanya tangent again when I get to the MK4 characters. But yeah, things are going well for Melina. I hope it continues in the sequel. I feel like there is signs of, Tarkat or whatever is going to overtake her and she's just going to turn evil. Which... I don't care to see it because I don't care about Tarka. I also don't care about generically evil Melina. But also, I guess that's logical based on what they've set up. But I don't think anyone wants to see that. So hopefully they dropped that idea in the next 4 years. Hopefully. But yeah, I think that's about it. Just let her be gay. Just do that. Thank you. Kung Lao. I quite like Kung Lao currently. Again, another character where I feel like the new arc actually improved him. Again, not in terms of lore. I never change my mind on any of the lore stuff. However, Kung Lao's lore doesn't really change much. Right? He just grows up in a different location. So, okay. Whatever. Sure. We can work with that. So this is going to apply to Kung Lao in general, not just the old timeline. Stop overshadowing him. Again, this is something that MK12 specifically does. That annoys me. Much like the previous point. Oh my god. So, Raiden. God. MK12 Raiden is fucking dog shit. Oh my god. He is just a Liu Kang clone. I feel like people are discovering what an actual clone character is because so many 3D era characters in particular just would get labelled, oh, it's a clone of this character. It's a clone of Cabal, even though they have nothing alike besides hook swords. which is intentional. And here they're finding out what a clone character actually is, and that's Raiden in MK12. It is a clone of Liu Kang. It is the same character. The personality is a bit different, right? Because it's a bit more of a cinnamon roll. And I like that. If they did that for Liu Kang, I'd probably call it my favourite characterization of Liu Kang. But they didn't. They gave it to Raiden. And that's not who Raiden's supposed to be. He's not badly written. I mean, in the story he is, because done power scaling, he goes from being very unskilled, right? And unconfident. And like weeks later, he's beating like 10 fighters in a tournament. A gauntlet tournament where it's just him against like 10 fighters. He's playing like fucking Armageddon Endurance here. And he wins the tournament. Bullshit. He shouldn't have gone past Reiko. Reiko should have just fucking curb stomped him. And then he disappears from the story until the Day Alliance chapter, and he's only there for a deception reference. And they do that every time. They do a deception reference every time. And it's never as cool as the actual deception intro, because that's just peak. That is peak cinema. So, Raiden's shit, and I bring him up because this is what sparks my freaking why I'm so mad about it. Because really coming out being second fiddle when Liu Kang's around, that's fair. It's boring, right? But like MK2, for example, it makes sense. It makes sense. It's not poorly written. It's just uninteresting. And for a character like Kung Lao, who was a mainstay for some reason, he should be doing more, I feel. And MK12, here's a chance to justify him as a mainstay. And they didn't do that, even though I like Kung Lao in the game. They didn't do it. He's no character who doesn't feel essential. He feels like a very minor hero character. He's in Act 2, which is the best act, but he does nothing of note there, right? Like he is always in a group just the least important guy. And I don't get it. He's a mainstay character. Fucking treat him like one. I don't care about Johnny's puns. Have Kung Lao do some dialogue, for fuck's sake. Oh my god. Like... It is insane. Like MK12 just becomes silly with it. You've completely changed Raiden to be just like Liu Kang, and even then in chapter 1, where Kung Lao is clearly shown to be the better fighter, 2 chapters Raiden just fucking beats everyone, and he's the champion of Mortal Kombat, not Kung Lao. Just let him win the tournament at least. Like, come on. Or they could have used Kai. If he's playing second fiddle to Kai, then that'd be fine. At least Kai is meant to like be the next gen Liu Kang. But Raiden? Why? Someone tell me why. And then you got the first timeline, and again, like I said, that makes more sense. Kung Lao being in every NRS game does not make sense because he doesn't do anything in any of them. MK9 is fine. He gets to win the MK2 tournament. Then he dies because MK9 has a huge problem with just killing off characters. And he had no real plan afterwards, which is why the Revenant thing is such a mess of a storyline. And it probably contributes to them resetting again. Unless they do just want to reboot every 3 games, which would be done. But yeah, he's just always an afterthought behind Liu Kang and our Raiden. Midway Tournament is different because Liu Kang fucking dies. And Kung Lao gets to step up. He trains with a right show. He gets the whirlwind kick, which Liu Kang just steals the whirlwind kicks in MK12. Thanks, Liu Kang. Right, so he can go and fight the Day Alliance. Then he dies. And that's kind of it for that. But it was cool. Like, Kung Lao is kind of like a perfect character into After Day Alliance, where he's killed off, and I mean that's fine narratively because they're restored in Deception and they come back in Armageddon. The problem is obviously Armageddon doesn't follow up anything, no reset, and then we have bad writing. So a lot of stuff just gets cut off in Day Alliance or Deception for a lot of characters in terms of just being consistently well written and having a clear character progression. And then things will just stagnate once they return. And Kung Lao is sort of a prime example of that. Even though he's been in every game from MK9 onwards, it is dumb. do more with him. I was gonna say just drop the Shaman Monk stuff because he's such a fucking child in that game. His characterization is ridiculous, and they took inspiration from that and then sort of blended it in with the games version of Kung Lao, like if I'm a humble monk, and then so he's got a bit more humour to him, I guess, and it's a blend that can work. I feel like stuff like MK11 dialogues, he just becomes obnoxious. MK12, I think they've actually struck the balance properly now. Where, he's confident, but he's not like egotistical. Like he'll say ridiculously egotistical stuff, but it feels like sarcasm. Maybe it's not, but it comes across that way. And yet everyone in the interest treats him like dirt. Everyone's just a dickhead to him, and he does nothing wrong this time. He's not an asshole to anyone, right? Like he's got morals and stuff. He's being a good dude. He's not being an asshole this time. And yeah, just stop overshadowing him. Treat him with respect. He's one of your mainstays. Hell, he got on the fucking cameo roster as well. I don't know why. Like, either put him on the shelf or do something with him, NRS. Please. Jax, okay. I should explain this. So, for anyone who's played AIs, or I guess Special Forces, there's dialogue. Jax had some catchphrases that came from Special Forces, and then Day Alliance uses them in, like, his grapples. He's got catchphrases there. Specifically comes from his machine gun special move, which I don't think it needs to necessarily be attached to that. He lost his assault rifle in MK9. He's meant to have an MK9 and he lost it. I think MKX has it. He has a variation of weapons, but I mean, I just remember the RPG. I think he has a rifle. I just remember the RPG because that's crazy, just as a fucking RPG. And then MK11 has the Thumper shotgun. That's also cool. I as long as he has a gun, I think that's I'm chilling with that. It doesn't have to be an AR. but I think you gotta have the catchphrase, man. I feel like this should be like Scorpion's Get Over Here or the gotcha grab. He says gotcha. How they even brought it back for the cameo, even though it seemed to not really work with the cameo, and they found a way. And now he has it. He's getting it with the Chaos Reigns update, where he does the gotcha to the other character, right? So he just had more catchphrases here, right? Like, oh yeah, or eat this sucker. That's a good one. He's got a lot of dialogue with his grapples, right? And I feel like you should repurpose this stuff. Oh yeah, at the least, and just give it to him. This is more of a gameplay thing, but I threw it in there because it's still part of the character, it's still part of the personality. And people seem to forget, like, Dale Jax is probably the most the characters talked in that era of games. And it probably stayed that way until MKX, I think. Because even MK9 don't do much talking mid-match. So that's, like, pretty huge. He had a lot of characterization, like a lot of personality, a lot of dialogue in that era. So I wanted to bring that up. One, because yeah, it's silly, but I do think it's something that just actually should be brought back. But also, I don't have anything to say about Jax, like any like serious improvements to the character in terms of story and stuff, because I think he's been the best mainstay of like the NRS games. I think the MK11 stuff with Chronica signing with her, I think that's dumb because it's rushed, but I don't hate it, and the payoff is good. So it's not terrible. And even then you have past Jax, who is awesome, and MKX Jax is fucking rad. He is a great character, and he stays fresh in every game, and he was not a character I would have sidelined. Of the mainstays, I would not dropped him. I like MK12 Johnny, but I would have swapped him for Jax in a heartbeat. I think Jax is awesome. There's really nothing to change unless I did pinpoint something specific, like, the Chronica storyline. Don't fucking rush it, right? I like Jax himself. He's characterized so well. He's had so many storylines and stuff. There's not much I can say to change there, other than something small like, oh, give him this "oh yeah" dialogue back. He is a great character. Um, and I'm glad he's got a break, mind you. I mean, I'll be happy with anyone getting a break, but he was not a character I would have chosen over characters like Raiden and Johnny, right? Because I think he's been the best mainstay in terms of consistency and variety, staying fresh. Especially when, a general take is the special forces got repetitive. I don't think people have ever had an issue with Jax, though. So fair play to him. So I don't really have much else to say there. Jax is cool. Baraka, I'd remove the cannibalism from the Tarkans. I wouldn't do the Tarkar law. That is dumb. The Tarkans should be a species with their own culture. It's just better than some dumb, vague disease that somehow gives you this crazy teeth and metal arm blades. That's just goofy. I don't care how the Tarkans come around. I think you can just simplify it to then be just a race of our world. Obviously, there's the mutant idea where they come from demons and humans. I don't like that just because there's no demons with this sort of appearance. I can buy into it though. I don't mind that. You can do that. That's fine. I just think Tarkana should be a species. I wasn't going to make that the label, so I've added remove cannibalism because I feel that should be obvious. I think the Tarkat law is stupid, even though MK2 Baraka, with that aside, is a very good character. And that's just a change I make, remove the cannibalism, because you can make the species absolutely sympathetic. You've just got to drop the cannibal stuff, because that's just absurd. You can make them carnivores, right? That's fine. I dig that. That's sure. But being cannibals, yeah, no, that very much exists just for the whole monster idea. And even then you can explain it, right, where they have no other choice or whatever, right? Or they don't know any better, which I find it hard to believe, but you can make reaches there. But ultimately, you want to have be this sympathetic species who get mistreated by Shao Kahn or whatever. And they've got this strong leader, Baraka, who just wants what's best for him. And he's always kind of one of that, even if he has been a villain, but depicted as such into MK11 in the games, right? I mean, there's a Malibu kind like Bibarity. He looks after a fucking kid, and he ends up caring about the child, right? When he's taken away by pre-Bihan Nu, but he's a very vague character, a mysterious guy. He just takes a baby away. That comic's rad. It's insane as it is. Baraka was always this character who wasn't just pure evil. And as a species as a whole, you see it in Deception. There's more to him, right? There's more to the Tarkans. The thing is that the thing that always falls down to, though, is that they eat humans. Though they're bloodthirsty cannibals, and that was always the thing that held them back. You chop that off the identity of the Tarkans, then you can have them be a species with their own culture and background and whatnot. You can do that, and it's fine. They can be treated as a sympathetic species who you don't have to genocide, and you don't have to turn to a fucking disease. That's all you need to do. Remove cannibalism. That is it. That is genuinely what it needs to be. So yeah, moving on. We're at the bosses now, so last two. Kentaro. Use him. Fucking hell. I have nothing. I have nothing I can say that is something to add to Kentaro, or improve or change. Because what's there, he has had so little, but at the same time, what he has gone has always been good. Right? Like he's been a simple character, and it's always been fine. And I've always been leaning into what you can do with a character. And MKX, he's awesome. Besides the random Shokan sexism they were trying to push. He's sexist to Devora randomly. That's weird. That aside, he's awesome, like working for Shiva and stuff. He's so fucking rad. And then he gets killed off. What? Why did we do all that? Why'd you give him all that character work and you killed him off? So my other label, if you want me to change something about a previous Kintaro depiction, don't kill him off. That's another thing. So yeah, just use him. Please fucking use this character. He should have been unlocked in MK12. I thought he was. I thought, like, okay, pre-order bonus is Kintaro. Everyone wants him. He's been gone since Armageddon. Like, the most recent render I have is from MK9. That was 13 years ago. What? How have they not brought him back yet? This is a game with no Shokan characters. Goro is a cameo. Pair Kintaro with Goro. That would be so much fun. No, we can't do that though. We can't do that though because we need 6 guest characters. We gotta have Ghostface. We can't have Kintaro. There's no room for him. It's so dumb. It is so dumb. It drives me insane. It's such an obvious thing. And I'm a big 3D era fan, right? MK12 got a lot of 3D era characters. I still think there should be more, but this is an improvement, absolutely. And it's going to get more people to be fans of 3D era characters. It's going to be an avenue to let more 3D era characters show up. And then, the more games we have more 3D era characters in, there's going to be fans that love them as much as the classic characters. And then you can have rosters that are more of an even split. That is the ideal end goal. They probably won't because I feel like it's going to make or break in the next roster, and I keep saying that because they'll either pussy out with stuff like cameos and having a lot of variety from the 3D era, and they'll go for safe mainstay picks, or they keep this up and you continue to just expand characters and people will know about more of this era and they'll look back on it and they'll like more of the characters. So Kintaro, he's not a 3D character. He's well known. MK2. And we see MK2 characters either every game or every other game except for Kintaro. And he's rad. He is aesthetically the coolest Shokan. I don't think that's a hot take. He's a 4-armed tiger dragon cat man. Like what? That's awesome. Okay. And they don't use him. They don't use him. And I don't get it. He should be in this roster. He is the most glaringly absent character in MK12's roster, and it's a great roster. But where's Kintaro? Where the fuck is he? He'd sell really well. I've seen so many polls where he gets more votes than like Jade, right? And Jade and like Sonya, I guess, like most requested seemingly, but that's just because Twitter stands so vocal. Kintaro is just as, if not more, wanted than those characters because he's been gone for so long, and you've made us wait an obscenely long time. So now everyone's like, where's Kintaro? Where the fuck is this rad character? Because everyone likes him. There's nothing wrong with him. He is sick, incredibly marketable. All the Shokan are, and there's no Shokan in this game, and he's been gone for ages. And we had people been saying like, oh, MKS had Goro, MK11 had Shiva, so it's Kintaro's turn. It's worse than that. We had MK3 had Shiva, Deception had Goro. You know, it's doing like boss stuff, right? Because Goro's only played one MK4 as well, and Trilogy. Then MK9 has Shiva, then X has Goro. So you're juggling Shiva and Goro and forgetting Kintaro on a roster each time it's time to bring in a Shokan character. And they've done this since the 90s. That is insane. Like again, I don't even think it's just an NRS thing. I feel like Kintaro would have made way more sense for like GameCube Deception and Goro. If you want like a Shokan allied to Shao Kahn, that's fine. That's fine. And then you can do, which is what they were sort of doing in the comics in the 90s, because Goro was in a lot of comics, because Goro was such a huge character in the 90s. And again, the Shokan was such a big thing that they hardly use now. That they were still having a rivalry. They were having this beef, and you know, that's a fucking money feud there. And then, again, you have Goro return, and he's like, hey, why are you fucking signing with Shao Kahn, you bitch? And then you got a Shokan fight at the pyramid, and it's rad. And you got, like, fucking Shokan leaping into the air, and they're doing air combat, and the fucking Battle of Armageddon. And we don't get that. Oh my god. There are so many wasted opportunities with this character. It drives me insane. Use him. MK12 DLC, come on. If we get more DLC, please get us more DLC. I'm pretty sure if we do, it's just going to be like Jade, Cassie, and Kung Jin. That's a fucking dog shit layout. Like, it's not layout, a dog shit lineup. But at least that'll be complete DLC if we get a few more characters. What we really need is just Kintaro. Right. Kung Jin's a good pick, by the way. No standard to him. Jade and Cassie in the last game had not really needed. I'd definitely trade one of them for Kintaro. I just want Kintaro. Use him. It's very simple. The next game, if he's not DLC, and that's excluding cameos, because if he's a cameo, I love cameos, he should be playable. That's not what I want to return with. Because he's absolutely major enough to just show up as a fighter. Again, should have been pre-order bonus, and you would have gotten sales from that. Probably more than if you just did Shang Tsung again. As DLC twice, which is weird. So, the next game, which Goro also needs to return, like I mentioned in the previous video, he's fell off so hard from the 90s, he needs a good appearance. So you need Goro and Kintaro both fully playable in the next game, I think. I feel like they both have to be there. They're both overdue for a good treatment now. Because Goro was in NKX, sure, but he wasn't in the story. Right? He's just been done dirty for so long. And Kintaro hasn't been done at all. They've done nothing with him. So, use him. That's all. Lastly, Shao Kahn. Kill him off during MK3. So, the invasion. When he invades Earthrealm after the tournaments and whatever, that's when you kill him off, I think. In whatever story you're going to do. Again, this is not talking about General Shao. I'm not interested in that. If you want an idea for what they should have done with General Shao, keep the Protector God lore from Deception, and he's the Protector God because Onaga's like deleted, so he's out of the picture. So what Shao Kahn does, that's going to be different. So Liu Kang alters that a bit. So now you've got Shao Kahn, because Argus is the Outworld Protector God, but we never see him, and we probably still will never see him. So use Shao Kahn. He's the Protector God of Outworld, and that's rad because they've been ignoring him being a god for so long. He's now another species that we don't know anything about. So in the 90s, there's this question of what species is he, and Deception answers this with, oh, he's a god like Raiden. Which, I mean, Annihilation answered it, but then Deception made it canon. And now he's just another mysterious, like, Outworld species that has dragon features, which we already have that with the Shokan, so it's not interesting at all. And it's been 2 games where they've done that, and they still haven't told us the species. So now the question that was from the 90s of what species is Shao Kahn, that's still a thing now. Except no one really cares about the answer, because we had a much better answer before, where he was the god of Outworld, and he fucking betrays his realm because he wants to be emperor, he wants to be a tyrant, and that's fucking rad. He's a sick villain. It's simple, effective, it works. You don't need to do more. You don't need to give him depth. And also, you can only use him sparingly. And then the rest of this problem now, I mean, he wasn't playing War 9, and he was the main villain of that because reboot, sure. He's not an MKX, makes sense. And then he's back, which, that's exciting, sure. But it's a weird role for him. And then MK12, he's an MK12, and I like Shao. I think General Shao's cool. Not on the level of Shao Kahn, right? So many unnecessary changes, which, I mean, they're necessary to make sure he's not like a key player in the story again, which is why you need to use him sparingly. Or you should do what MK12 did, and what you have to do in MK12 is just butcher him, make him lame. If it was a newcomer, it'd be a very interesting character. Because again, General Shao's a good character. It's just you have to compare him to Shao Kahn, and he's just not on that level in any way. In visuals, gameplay, in story, not in characterization. He's a deeper character, but that's not what I want from Shao Kahn. I couldn't give less of a fuck about his motives or anything. I want his motives to be he wants to rule everything because he's Shao fucking Kahn. That's what I want him to be. So kill him off during MK3 because that's like the end of his stuff being the main villain. And I feel if you keep him around after that, you just stagnate with him. And like we saw some original timeline, like he's alive in MK4, but he's not a player there. And then Day of Lions, it kills him off because Kano's like his only remaining ally, and that's like a cool, like over the decade after failing to take over Earthrealm, he's just lost everything, and that's cool. And he has like a contingency plan, and that's kind of cool. But like, I don't know, Shao Clone makes no sense. It's they made him too intelligent in Deception. Now he's too dumb. That's another thing I could have said. Make him smart again. I feel like he's just been a mess in any role he's been in after MK3. Even if he's still cool in the 3D era, absolutely he's still cool there. And General Shao's a good character when separated from Shao. But you kind of can't do that because he's meant to be Shao, obviously. So I think you just get rid of him in MK3. You properly kill him. He ends up in an Everround, whatever. He's there for a while. You can bring him back, absolutely. Like, my idea in Reborn, right? I don't have the Shao clone shit. He actually gets killed. And then he, there's a whole revolution, right, when Melina's Empress, and it's led by Reiko, and you got this... I do a time jump to get, like, next-gen characters like the Kombat Kids, and, you age down Cobra, Kira, Frost, and Kai, because they're also next-gen characters, but also the time gap's different in the original timeline. So you changed that to match the Kombat Kids. So, you got like a 20-year time gap. And in that time, Reiko's been trying to take over, right, in the name of Shao Kahn. He's stopped. So a lot of the remaining Khan Guard people, they're killed. They start to regroup in the Netherrealm. They help get like Shao Kahn out like the lowest plane of hell. And then they fight through hell together to get back to Outworld. And then that's how you bring him back. That's a way to bring him back in a satisfying way. So when I say kill him off in MK3, I don't mean permanently write him off, but definitely have him dead. Dead and buried. He's not fucking scheming or anything. He's gone. He got fucked over. Right? Take the focus away from him. When it's time you want to bring him back, then you've got an avenue, because no one stays dead in Mortal Kombat. Especially not when he's a god. So yeah, a lot of stuff changed with Shao. I think I covered it all. I didn't speak too fast. We got extra ranty towards the end of this video. But I didn't do it in under an hour. I don't think I said it, but I think about in my head, I was like, okay, let's see if we can do this in an hour. This is why this is a series, because I yap. We go on for so long, but it's an interesting discussion. Let me know your thoughts on all the changes and stuff, I said more than one for each of these, I know. So that's just it, That's all the things I changed for these characters. And next video, MK3. Don't know when I can do that, as per usual. It'll happen when it'll happen. MK2 stuff, it's going to keep happening. I'm going to keep doing it because it gets views. It's awesome. So I'm going to stick with it until I sort of run out of stuff, which is going to take a while because that game has so much content. I've got Serena and Draman to do stuff with next, and I've also got, I'm modding the game now for textures, which isn't incredibly impressive, but it's cool. Doing some cool stuff there. Currently trying to add the Deadly Alliance ult into Deception, because the Deception ult has a lot of parts that are the same model. So you can bring a lot of textures over. It's a lot of effort though. So that's something I will hopefully do a video on next. We'll see. So a lot of stuff planned. Even though I've got college, so I've got to focus on that, and also I want to focus more on the MK Reborn fanfic, because I've just got more of a passion for that, I guess. Which, not a knock on YouTube, but they're both for fun, but like that one, I've got a lot of care for that, right? It's writing, so it's more effort. Like, these are low quality videos, quite frankly, right? Like, no editing. I don't have a mic. I'm not getting a mic. Which, if I want to do commentary on videos where I'm recording off my laptop, my idea is I might record off my phone, which is what I normally do here, and it's audible. It's not a good quality, I know, but I'm not paying for a mic. Like, here's the deal. If I get monetized, then, I'll use that money savings for a mic. How about that? That might be what I do. Which I'm going to get monetized next year. As long as I upload consistently, get the views, get the watch hours. I meet the subscriber count now, so that's cool. I mentioned that in the last video. So that's possible. I won't make much money from it, of course, but it'll be pretty cool because I do this for fun. So yeah, there's your little update. I figure I'll do little updates at the end of these years because again I can't do many commentaries now. If you're new to the channel, then there's a lot of old stuff. There's a lot of old stuff. My first video, you want to go off the oldest section, please don't. I guess the embarrassing stuff I probably unlisted by now. But there's like Fortnite stuff first. There's Fortnite videos. Then there's some other games, and then MK2 drops. I got that, I pre-ordered that. Then I became like an MK2 channel for a bit. And then I started to do random shit again, I think. And like I kind of stopped giving a fuck. So I'm not doing Xbox stuff anymore. And I hadn't figured out, like, I didn't have a phone at the time, actually. No, I didn't have a phone. So I wasn't doing videos off my phone. Didn't have a laptop, right? So all I was doing, I had a Chromebook, mind you, but I wasn't doing much with that, and a tablet. But the main thing I was doing was speedrunning. So there's a lot of speedruns, which aren't, like, screen recorded. They are taken from a camera pointed at the TV because I need to use actual hardware, and I don't have like any capture card or anything with my Xbox 360, which I've running Deception on to do speedruns. I might do speedrunning for Daylights and Armageddon because I have an actual emulator to do that legally now, because mobile emulators are banned because they're inconsistent as all hell. Mine wasn't, to be fair, but I get it. I get the principle. But yeah, the main focus, MK2 stuff. Then these commentaries when I can, and I'll do whatever else when I feel like doing whatever else I want to do. Armageddon versus, that's another thing. I've got to unlock stuff first before I do any more, like stages and old costumes. But I haven't abandoned that. Yeah, I just need to make the time to do a Conquest playthrough, which I could get a memory card with everything on. I did that for Daily Alliance. But I'll do a Conquest playthrough. I probably won't record it. But maybe I can. Maybe I'll do a no commentary one. But I don't think I was interested in seeing that really. UMKD is different because now I feel like modded, and I just want to highlight a mod, and it's getting views anyway, even if I'm not doing commentary and stuff, which I feel like stuff without commentary gets better views with me anyway. I guess it's because of the bad mic quality, or maybe it's because I'm a yapper. Again, this series sort of favours being a yapper, so it's okay. But yeah, that's it. I just want to be a yapping, just yap on about just updates on stuff with me. So again, just let me know for the video. I even get more comments as well, because people check out the channel. That's cool. Thank you for doing that, people. I'll try and respond to them. YouTube's notifications are a bit fucky, so I miss stuff, but I'll try and check stuff out. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.